guess, our first space for 2024. And what a better way than to start it by reviewing what happened over the past year. And then we'll end it by looking at probably what we anticipate in 2024. So yeah, there's been a lot of activities in 2023. So many activities happened. Of course, the FTX saga continues. Former Binance CEO stepped down. There are also a lot of crypto hacks. Solana soared towards the end of the year. There was emergence of AI and so many things in the crypto world. So let's just wrap them up. Yeah, and then we'll look at probably the outlook for 2024. Okay, so let's start with the biggest, well, it's not the biggest, but one of the biggest news that probably happened in 2023. And of course, I think the most anticipated thing that happened in 2023 was Bitcoin ETFs. It was a rumor, and then also the price surges of Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrency. So we usually know whenever there's a surge in Bitcoin, for some reason, other cryptos follow up. So let's start with the first biggest news of 2023, which was the FTX saga that is almost coming to a close. Yeah, so the FTX cryptocurrency exchange was headed by billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried. Of course, he was known for his luxurious lifestyle and multi-million-dollar political donations. Yet it collapsed in 2022, and a year later the ex-CEO was convicted on several criminal charges related to fraud and money laundering. Yeah, because FTX was majorly using customer funds, and this was aided by its sister company Alameda. So this led a lot of legal proceedings and all manner of legal proceedings that stretched pretty much throughout 2023. And I guess it's almost coming to a close, and he was jailed for, I think he was jailed for these fraudulent activities. So that was the first biggest activity, or rather event that happened in 2023, and it's almost coming to a close. So I guess one of his sentencing will be in March 2024. Now, talking about CEOs, the next CEO to step down was billionaire Changpeng Zhao, CZ. It's always known as CZ. He is a Chinese-born Canadian crypto tycoon. He was always known as the head of Binance. Binance is the biggest, rather the largest crypto exchange. So Binance has in the past halted most of its operation in several countries due to some regulatory crackdowns. But in 2023, the exchange agreed to pay a massive settlement of roughly $4 billion US. So all these stuff that I'm talking about are mostly available on big blog sites like thehindu.com, Cointelegraph. Yeah, so you can always check them out and read about them. So in addition to this, he pleaded guilty to a felony related to his failure to prevent money laundering on Binance and stepped down as CEO. Yeah, so that's one of a really big headline the past year that took place. So the crypto exchange, of course, will continue to be monitored as it is forced to formally exit the US market. Uh, so probably this year in February, we will get to see his sentencing in the US. Now, another big, if someone has requested to speak, yeah, you will speak later. So yeah, I was just summarizing what happened in 2023 in the crypto world. We talked about the FTX saga that is almost coming to a close and former Binance CEO stepping down. So another big happening in the crypto community was WorldCoin. Everyone loves WorldCoin. So OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, he was a really controversial figure in the crypto communities long before he became a major player in generative AI. So we know about his project WorldCoin. So what WorldCoin aims is to create a biometric database of the human population in exchange for giving them access to crypto and a digital ID, which has been compared to India's Aadhaar number. So this initiative was severely criticized by privacy advocates. But it kicked off anyways, and Altman raised about $115 million for the project. And now the crypto tokens are not available to US based users. However, it's available for every other users. So we also know of OpenAI's ChatGPT that sparked off major AI boom. And Altman himself flew around the world to discuss AI regulations with state leaders and top technologies. So he even formally launched WorldCoin operators. So where the operators you kind of get to access to kind of register in the WorldCoin thingy with your I or OP, and then you get rewarded some tokens. So this was a really big happening in the blockchain space. Yeah. Um, Another event, of course, was now India's rise in, or rather, it topped in grassroots adoption. We'll look at something else interesting about India and some of the crypto exchanges. So in 2023 was another year in India's grassroots adoption of crypto first, and they raced far ahead of the legislation meant to regulate it. So Chainalysis ranked the country first in the 2023 Global Adoption Index. So yeah, Indians really started adopting crypto in last year. Then probably the final interesting stuff that happened in 2023 that we are everyone in the crypto space is looking forward to is the rise of Bitcoin from prices as low as $17,000. Bitcoin has been slowly but significantly recovering. It even moved towards $45,000 mark. But we all know in 2023 it didn't touch that mark, but this year it touched it a bit and then it retraced. So geopolitical shocks such as Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 were the major things that shook the sector badly. but 2023 has seen the price consolidation and relative stability in what is naturally volatile market. 2023 was also marred with a lot of hacks, crypto hacks that we consistently talked about in this space and also in some of the episodes in our podcast. So we can just go to DYOR on any podcast distribution platforms out there and listen to the number of crypto hacks that happened. But today we're just delving into now the crypto market outlook for 2024. Now back to Bitcoin. Let's speculate, or rather, let's look at the market outlook for 2024, and we'll just continue with the Bitcoin narrative for this conversation. What to expect on Bitcoin? So we all know, or rather, we have read about the ETFs and the SEC still delaying the decision on ETF. Yeah, so there's been a lot of speculation on if SEC will approve the Bitcoin spot exchange traded funds. We don't know why they're delaying, but all crypto enthusiasts are optimistic that the Federal Reserve is approaching its terminal interest rates in the current cycle. So the central bank could provide rather pivot to rate cuts by mid 2024. So SEC is just the Securities and Exchange Commission, and it always regulates the crypto market. So still more regulatory clarity could open the door for institutional crypto investments in 2024. Let's look at something brief on what has been happening on Bitcoin. As I think one of the things that also affects the Bitcoin price is the much anticipated halving. So what is this halving, and how will, again, this is not financial advice, this is just based on personal research. So that's why I always advocate for people to kind of do their own research. So let's look at the trends from previous Bitcoin cycle before we look at what we may wait for in this year. So the Bitcoin cycle lasts for about 4 years, and it's about 210,000 blocks, produced approximately 10 minutes per block. So at the commencement of each cycle, the block's subsidy rewards that Bitcoin miners receive is cut in half. So this ultimately triggers a Bitcoin supply shock. Now, historically, Bitcoin price has risen dramatically during the year and a half that follows the halving. So whenever there is a halving, the price of Bitcoin usually increase dramatically. Let's look at probably from 2013 up to date, as we are anticipating another halving. So for instance, in from late 2013 to mid 2016, I'm not sure if most of us knew about crypto Bitcoin back then, but when the second halving occurred, Bitcoin price fell from $1,000 to $156. It then rebounded to $780. That's about 66, about percent of the all-time high, before again falling for $72. So I think this Bitcoin halving will be very interesting for crypto traders out there. Then fast forward to late 2017 to late 2018, Bitcoin price fell from 19K to $3,000, and then it rebounded to $13,000 before 70% of the previous all-time high. Now, in March 2020, its price had fallen 72% back to $3,000. Hey, so we can see what happens in the Bitcoin charts. If you just go to CoinMarketCap or TradingView and then you check out the charts for Bitcoin, you'll see these crazy numbers. So another 2.5 year period that precedes a Bitcoin halving is coming to an end, and this period began in late 2021 and will end in about April 2024, when the fourth halving is scheduled to occur. So during this period, Bitcoin price has fallen from 69k to 15k before rebounding to 44k. Um, so for me, I knew about crypto when Bitcoin was rising to 69k. So I thought that's how crypto works. It keeps rising. So Masi, I think it fell back to $15,000, and I witnessed all those as an amateur. Like, you don't know so much about crypto, and then it kind of falls from $69,000 to 15k. So when Bitcoin rises, somehow the altcoins also rises, and then when it falls, the altcoins fall harder. So we are anticipating another halving in 2024 April, and Bitcoin has so far rebounded to $44,000. That is about 65% of previous all-time high. So we can see some kind of a pattern here. Now, I know there are far better traders and market analysts out there that will be very keen on such kinds of happenings. So this 65 rebound, the current one, is awfully close to the 67% and the 70% rebounds we saw in the previous two cycles. So now I guess a big question will Bitcoin's price retrace significantly leading up to the next halving? So if Bitcoin price were to fall 40% from the current levels, as it did in 2015-16, we'd see its price back to 26k. Now, right now it's about, if I check CoinMarketCap, I think it's about 41 or 42. I'm not sure about the exact price, but it's well above 40. But if it were to fall 72%, as in 2019, we'd see Bitcoin price plummet to $12k. Now, will this time be different? I guess that's upon all of us to pay attention to the markets. So there are two forces actually um, happening. There's the Bitcoin halving, and then another market outlook for is, of course, the spot Bitcoin ETF. So no one actually knows whether an approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF is priced into the Bitcoin market yet. So I guess most of people in the crypto world believe it is that the announcement of spot ETF will buy the rumor and sell the news. So what is buying the rumor and selling the news? Uh, that's also upon us to do our own research. But what usually happens whenever there is a rumor, like for instance that one, people might buy, and when buying pressure is high, the price will skyrocket, and then now later on people might sell the news. So it just means dumping. Now know, we don't know, because there's also this halving that we anticipate in April 2024. So for me, don't want to, not financial advice, but if you're not good in trading and you believe in Bitcoin ecosystem, you can just do what is called dollar cost averaging. Just buy in bits and hold. Don't care about all the noise out there. But if you're a trader, you'll profit a lot. And if I think if you're not careful, you might lose a lot too. So the spot Bitcoin ETF is of course one of the major crypto outlooks out there. Of course, the halving that is approaching too. The real truth is that no one actually knows what spot Bitcoin ETF being approved will do unto the market. So probably not sure what will happen, but let's just keep watching. The traders are having a time of their lives, shorting and buying the markets. The degens can just buy and hold. The tourists, you can just come, get dragged or be lucky, then you move out. So there are a lot of groups in the crypto industry. There are the tourists who just come and see what's happening. They get dragged or they make bad decisions and never come back. The degens, diamond hands, they bought and they never want to sold. I mean to sell. I think one of the best examples is probably Michael Saylor. He always just buys. He his company MicroStrategy has over 100,000 bitcoins. Recently, he added almost Bitcoin worth, I think it was worth $600 million. So he doesn't care what happened. Not 600 million, about 6 million plus. I don't have the exact figures. So people like that just keep buying. They don't really care what's happening. So it's upon you to do your research and I mean make your own decisions. Yeah, so that's one of the major events now. Um, Apart from Bitcoin, of course, crypto isn't just about Bitcoin. There's so many things in crypto happening. For instance, another happening was the recent Solana surge. Um, I remember exactly 2 months ago, Solana was, when I checked, it was about $19. Nowadays, it's at $99. There was also ordinals, or rather OD. So these are BRC20 tokens. So BRC20 tokens are like uh, tokens built on the Bitcoin ecosystem. So ordinals also really spiked. Then there's this rise of something called modular blockchain technology, where now Celestia, uh, remember Celestia being launched with the tier airdrops that people who really took part in Celestia, I think they made some good money. We want to talk a little bit about uh, the cross pollination of modular blockchains and zero knowledge proofs. So those are also what we need to. This one is pretty interesting to probably now the people in the crypto industry as developers. Those are some of the things we need to look at. If you're a dev in the crypto industry, you might want to delve into such things. So yeah, we've looked at the resurgence of Bitcoin, and there is also DeFi Summer 2.0 around the corner. So we need to begin on that. Then, so what is DeFi Summer 2.0 on Bitcoin? These are with the wrapped Bitcoin today having a market cap of, I think, total value locked of around $6 billion. There is clearly an enormous demand for Bitcoin DeFi. So that's what I was talking about, the BRCs and all that. So we know Bitcoin is majorly a store of value. That's how most people see it, and no much mm, scalability can be done on Bitcoin. But there is this technology called wrapped Bitcoin. Right now, it has a total value of about $6 billion. So that shows clearly there is an enormous demand for Bitcoin in the DeFi space. So today, as at now, ETH has about 10% of its 273 billion market cap in total value lock. So that is like 28 billion. And as Bitcoin infrastructure matures, we could potentially see Bitcoin DeFi TVL rise from the current 300M to a lot of money. So in this process, many ETH DeFi practices are likely to be transferred onto Bitcoin. So that's why I was talking of the recent rise of stuff like BRC20 inscriptions and ideas such as staking staking in the Bitcoin ecosystem. There's also Bitcoin NFTs, such as those inscribed on ordinals, may also see an increased popularity in 2024. So, as Bitcoin has much higher cultural recognition and mimetic value, it's possible that Web2 brands such as luxury retailers will choose to release NFTs on Bitcoins. So that's something to look at in 2024. DeFi Summer and Bitcoin. So DeFi Summer 2.0 is just how to uh, now use Bitcoin on DeFi. DeFi is just decentralized finance where we see a lot of creative ideas built on the ETH blockchain. But now DeFi Summer is now built on the Bitcoin blockchain. So I think a second thing that we need to look at is let's look at the cross pollination of modular blockchains and zero knowledge. Yeah, what do I mean by cross pollination? I'm sure most of us did some science probably in primary school, and we know cross pollination what it means. So now, modular blockchains and ZKPs have greatly matured over the past years. Celestia mainnet launch is one of the major modular blockchains. I don't want to go to the deeper meanings of what modular blockchains is and all that stuff, but we're just speculating what the outlook of 2024. Now, Espresso's Arbitrum integration, there have been Risk Zero open source ZETH prover, and even Succinct's launch of a ZK marketplace. So the major interesting trend is how these two narratives have merged together with companies in the ZK space modularizing by focusing on specific verticals such as coprocessors, privacy layers, proof of markets, and ZK DevOps. So if this one I think is making sense to the devs out there. So we expect such trends to continue with ZK proofs as an interface between different components of modular blockchain stack. So that's something very techy, but also one to look out for. We've seen how Celestia came about, and now pretty much every tech wants to incorporate modular blockchain technology in their system. So if you are interested in that, you can check out Celestia's ecosystem and learn more about what this modular blockchain is. Yeah, then something that might happen also. These are just based on my own research, so we can just look at them. There's also an increase in TradFi and DeFi bridges. So what do I mean by bridges and TradFi and DeFi? So TradFi is the traditional finance, DeFi is the decentralized finance. So we know the bridges that bridge us from traditional to decentralized, things like stable coins, where you can bridge your cash from, let's use USD because it's the most common, from US dollar to the DeFi space in form of stable coins such as USDT, USDC, and all those kinds of stable coins. So that's like a bridge between traditional finance and now the DeFi space. So in as much as there have been a lot of legal action in crypto, including several high-profile wins for the industry, things like the XRP rulings, grayscale ETF litigation wins, and justice being served for financial fraud in what we talked about, the cases of FTX and all. Alongside this is a large increase in institutional interest and even potential ETF approvals for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we expect a lot of increase in traditional finance and DeFi bridges. So we might see a dramatic increase in institutional adoption, who not only seek for ETFs but also tokenized rewards assets and traditional finance and financial products. So in other words, we expect mirroring of traditional finance in the DeFi space, while the crypto assets will have increased exposure in the traditional finance markets. So this will automatically create the bridge between, I don't know why we call them traditional, and now the DeFi bridges. So this will bring the two worlds together and increase even liquidity. If I think the number of people that know about DeFi and crypto is still so small. So imagine if these anticipated bridges work out, there'll be a lot of liquidity coming into the crypto world. I mean, there are more than 7 billion people in the world. I'm not sure even if 500 million people in the world still know about what crypto and DeFi is. Now imagine if just a billion people engage in crypto, then they bridge their financial traditional finance to the DeFi space. We will see an automatic surge in the liquidity that's available in the DeFi space. So all the devs out there and the people building products, let's continue, I mean, telling people about DeFi so that we build stronger bridges. So stable coins will of course serve as one of the most important links, just like I had talked about, such as USDC, BuyUSD being more widely accepted as both portfolio options and payment tools. So we know that Sako is the company that is tasked with minting USDC. They said to consider a 2024 IPO. We may also see an increase in the issuance and usage of non-USD stablecoins, things like British pound, Singaporean dollar, Japanese yen, all of them. So some of these stablecoins may be launched by state-backed actors. So this, of course, I think it will lead to a massive growth on the on-chain fiat foreign exchange market. Yeah. There are so many things that we need to look out for. Also, tokenized experience, social experiences for the new customer use cases. Well, The first thing that I need to say about this, most of stuff happening in DeFi is usually about finance most of the time. But I think in 2024 now, we need to bring the social experiences for new consumer use cases, except just things like finance all the time. So we know Web2 has moved from social to finance. For instance, YouTube and all these other Web2 services are now trying to incentivize most of the users. Web3 now is moving now from finance to social, rather than just focusing on the money aspect. Now they want to kind of bring the social aspect in the Web3 space. I'll use friend.tech, which pioneered in August as an example. So if you check out what friend.tech was doing, they pioneered a new form of tokenized social experiences on base layer 2. Also, if you've not checked out base recently launched layer 2. So users were able to buy and sell fractionalized shares of their of others X accounts. X is formerly Twitter. So this peaked almost 30,000 ETH. That's total value locked of about 50 million US dollars as in October. So this inspired several copycats projects like Post.tech on Arbitrum, and it seems Friend.tech, through financializing Twitter, has successfully pioneered a tokenomics model for the social fi space. So also, I'm usually pro devs. If you're a dev, you can check out what you can build and bring the social experience to the Web3 space, to the DeFi space. So now in the upcoming year, we of course expect more experiments in the social space, with tokenization both as fungible and unfungible tokens playing a key role in reinventing the social experience. So we all know what fungible tokens are more likely to be: novel forms of points and loyalty systems, whereas the NFTs are more likely to serve as profiles and social resources such as trading cards. Um, there are so many apps that you earn things called XP points, but the NFTs you can now use them as trading cards. We've seen how you can trade NFTs for other kinds of services. And NFTs, both the NFTs and even the XPs are points that you earn in most of these social platforms that are now trying to incorporate Web3. We hope this year they will be able to be traded on chain and participate on the DeFi ecosystem. Lens and Farcaster are two of the leading Web3 native applications in integrating DeFi with social networks. Last year in Eat Safari, I met someone from, no, it wasn't from Lens, but as we were talking, he talked a little bit about Lens. And if you have not checked out Lens, please do. It's integrating DeFi with social networks. Yeah. So let's check out how that will turn out. It's something that we anticipate in this year in the Web3 ecosystem. I see someone is requesting to speak. Also, if you have something fascinating that I haven't covered that you think will be it's something that we need to look out for in 2024, you can just request to to talk. Puri, I hope you don't want to shield. Yeah. Okay. What else do you think we need to look out for in 2024? Mm-hmm. This one is big. This one is really big. The convergence of AI and the metaverse. AI is moving fast. We need to thank someone like Sam Altman, of course, and we can't just assume AI and the metaverse. So this one is also a major intriguing conversation that we should look out for in 2024, of course. So this convergence is rooted in the very hardware that powers it. So GPUs, known for rendering rich virtual spaces, are the same workhorses that train AI models. So their capability for parallel computing not only makes them invaluable in AI development, but also bring into life the complex environments of the metaverse. So this synergy is evident in the surging value of GPU manufacturers. I think traders will enjoy. They can trade commodities in, or rather, how are they called? Shares, I think, in GPU manufacturers such as Nvidia and stuff. I'm not a trader, but uh, traders can check out such kinds of information. So going into 2024, the convergence of AI and the metaverse looms as a pivotal development in our tech journey. So I think we are on the verge of witnessing AI transformation, the act and the act of creation within the metaverse. So just a prediction, AI will evolve beyond the current capabilities, of course. This will enable creators of to craft expansive virtual worlds. Mm, yeah, so people like Meta Clubs, Matthew probably needs to check out that. I know he knows all about this. He even spoke to one of our podcasts with a metaverse architect called Matthew from Meta Club. He already started mentioning AI last year, so he's smart. So he has already seen that outlook in the metaverse industry. There has been a spike of stuff like AI tokens. I haven't done research on them, but this is not a financial advice again. We need to also not assume but kind of check stuff out. What I'm sure of are tokens in the metaverse like sand and mana. So maybe possibly there are also tokens in the AI realm. So there will be, of course, surge in the convergence of AI, rather synergies between virtual reality and the metaverse. So that's also another leap that we expect, virtual reality and the metaverse. So looking ahead to 2024, we stand on the brink of a defining moment in the spatial computing industry. So there's so many things that we really need to look forward to: AI, metaverse, Bitcoin halving, spot ETFs, and so many fascinating things. Now we've covered the trends from previous Bitcoin cycle, and we can just go and do a lot of background research on this and check out what probably we will anticipate. Yeah, I guess that sums up mostly what we really anticipate, rather look forward to in the crypto space. Now there has been a little bit of some news that popped up since the year began. India somehow banned all the crypto exchanges in India. I don't know why they did that, but It's also a really interesting development, especially for Indians. Let's see how that turns out. But we are used to such activities. Soon the world will adopt crypto, and these regulations and all these kinds of banning will be addressed. So the most people that are still um, making this lag behind are the bad actors in the crypto space, the scammers, the hackers, and I think also the regulators don't have sufficient knowledge on what Bitcoin and crypto really is. But once we kind of learn about this and find a way, rather ways to protect and safeguard the users from the scammers and the bad actors, and then good regulations come into play, uh, we will surely make blockchain adoption and crypto a really interesting technology. Those are most of the interesting things that we need to look out for in 2024. And we also have talked about last year's uh, headlines in the crypto industry. Now, I guess that's all for our first Sunday space. Uh, this will be happening, of course, every Sundays. This time there's no stopping again up to December. So I hope most of the faces here will show up next week and every other week. So if there's anyone who wants to add on something, you can just request to be a speaker. But if there is not, we can end the space and go and do our own research. So this episode will be available, of course, on the podcast also for the people that missed this space. So see you next Sunday. Oh, tomorrow we have a space on the Starknet ecosystem. So I hope all of us will show up, of course. So yeah, that's all from me. We can follow each other on X and have a fun and profitable week ahead. So good night, everyone.